Dear friends, a warm welcome to all. In the previous modules, you have come across with core life skills and the need for providing life skill education. We know that education is a process that enables students to take their place in society as effective learners, professionals and citizens. Towards the end of the last century, when we were about to enter a new millennium, the demand for diverse and multifaceted skill set was increasing. The world was expecting the redesign of education system to prepare citizens with 21st century skills. Consequently, a number of organizations have developed skills for competence. Some emphasize job skills, while others focused on developing cognitive skills. Life skill education helps the students to cope up with the increasing pace and change of modern life. Life skills as an approach aim to develop or change behavior of individuals for their healthy functioning in the society. You are aware that life skills are capabilities that empower young people to take positive action to protect themselves and to have positive social relationships. Life skills thereby help to promote both mental well-being and personal development of individuals as they are facing the realities of life. Skills of knowing and living with others are one of the main areas of life skills. Empathy is an important skill among various skills of knowing and living with others. Empathy is identified as a core life skill by World Health Organization. Kindness, compassion and caregiving skills will be in demand among the future citizens. To have a successful relationship with our loved ones and society at large, we need to understand and care about other people's needs, desires and feelings. Here comes the importance of empathy as a life skill for individuals. Without empathy, our communication with others will amount to one-way traffic. Empathy is regarded as one of the most desirable of personality traits due to its positive association with pro-social behaviors and its crucial role in the development and maintenance of interpersonal relationships. Thus, teachers should focus on empathy as an essential skill for all children to master. I am Dr. Niranjana KP, Assistant Professor in Education, Farooq Training College, Kozhikode. It is my pleasure to introduce before you the module on empathy, sympathy and altruism. This module enables you to understand in detail about empathy, the power to understand perspectives other than your own. The module is organized in such a way to master the meaning and definition of empathy, to compare and contrast similar terms related to empathy, especially sympathy and altruism, to analyze different types of empathy and to understand the techniques for inculcating empathy among the students. Now, let us see the meaning and definition of empathy. The term empathy is derived from the Greek word empathia, which means physical affection, passion or partiality. The term was adapted by Hermann Lotz and Robert Vischer to create the German term which literally means feeling into. Later, at the beginning of the 20th century, Edward Titchener, an American psychologist, translated the German term into English word empathy. Titchener applied the new concept not only to the relation with objects but also to the relations that characterize the social context, which is a feeling of placing oneself inside something or someone that was perceived. So, what is empathy? It is important to get an idea of what empathy means in order to know how to increase empathy skills among students. Empathy is the ability to recognize and share another person's emotions. Empathy starts with the ability to understand and accept different kinds of people around us who are different from us in many respects. Empathy is the ability to understand, consider, and appreciate other people's circumstances, problems, and feelings from their perspective. It is our mental capacity to accept without emotional disturbances people in distress as if we are in such a distress situation. We never really understand a person until we consider things from his or her point of view. Empathy has many different definitions that encompass a broad range of emotional states, including caring of other people, accurate perception of what another person is thinking or feeling, drawing a clear distinction between oneself and other, having a desire to help them, and experiencing emotions to match another person's emotion. Let us go through some definitions of empathy. According to Rogers, the state of empathy or being empathic is to understand the internal frame of reference of another with accuracy and with emotional components and means which pertain thereto as if one were the person, but without ever losing the as if condition. Haynes and Eve states that empathy is the ability to recognize and understand another person's perceptions and feelings and to accurately convey that understanding through an accepting response. According to WHO, empathy is the ability to imagine what life skills for another person's even in a situation that we may not be familiar with. From the point of view of Goldman, empathy derives from a sort of physical imitations of another person's emotional expression which then evokes the same feelings in the imitator as well. Thus, empathy is the ability to identify with another person's feelings, the ability to see and feel things as others see and feel them. Besides understanding and appreciating the other person's feeling, communicating meaningfully with the person is an important aspect of empathy. The focus is on the process whereby individuals come to care about one another and communicate that caring through their behavior. Empathy can help us to understand and accept others who may be very different from ourselves, which can improve social interactions. Empathy enables a person to give support to another in order to enable him or her to still make a good decision despite of the circumstances. This can improve social interactions, especially in situations of ethnic or cultural diversity. Empathy can also help to encourage nurturing behavior towards people in need of care and assistance or tolerance. Psychological basis of empathy. Most models of empathy emphasize that helping behavior is motivated by emotional states activated by emotional states of others, a capacity which develops in the context of parental care and other social bonds. A prerequisite to be empathetic is to master the ability to know and understand your own emotions. If you are not aware that you have experiences to certain feelings, it is difficult for you to understand what another person is feeling. So, it all begins with your self-awareness, which is a part of your emotional intelligence. The children should begin by understanding the different kind of feelings they have and the different feelings one can experience in different situations. Empathy has been called the building block of morality. This relates the ethic of reciprocity. This rule can be explained as you should treat other people exactly as you would like to be treated, or you should not treat others in a way that you would not like to be treated. A person who is not able to understand their own feelings and emotions will not be able to understand others' feelings. Understanding emotions and focusing on one's own feelings should be initiated before instructing them to assume another's perspective. In addition to that, a person who lacks empathy will find difficulty in creating a strong social relationship with their friends, spouse, or family. From the mental perspective, those who have high levels of empathy are more likely to function well in society. Empathy is an essential factor for successful interpersonal relationships of all types in the family unit, workplace, and beyond. Lack of empathy, therefore, is one indication of conditions like antisocial personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder. Thus, empathy is the fundamental aspect of social interactions. Empathy seems to arise over time as a part of human development, and it also has roots in evolution. Empathy varies from one person to other. Empathy is the ability to listen to another's needs and understand the circumstances and expressing that understanding for the benefit of others. This skill will help to reduce the animosity that exists among different individuals and increase respect for one another. The key components of empathy are understanding, appreciating, and communicating. Through empathy skills, the individual develops the ability to listen and understand others' needs and behavior in a particular situation and is able to express that understanding. Now, let us have a look at the allied psychological variables to empathy. While learning about empathy, we may come across with some psychological variables related to empathy such as compassion, sympathy, altruism, egoism, etc. Most of the people associate empathy with sympathy and compassion, but all the three terms are unique. Compassion is an emotion we feel when others are in need, which motivates us to help them. Empathy precedes compassion, and empathy without compassion leaves the individual drained out of energy as a result of feeling what the others feel. Sympathy is a feeling of care and understanding for someone in need. In the field of positive psychology, empathy is compared with altruism and egoism. Altruism is a behavior that is aimed at benefiting another person, while egoism is a behavior that is acted out for personal gain. According to positive psychologists, people can be adequately moved by their empathies to be altruistic. Altruism is a motivational state in which the goal is to increase another person's welfare as an end in itself, whereas egoism is a motivational state in which the goal is to increase one's own welfare as an end in itself. Now, let us analyze in detail the two terms sympathy and altruism in comparison to empathy. Empathy versus sympathy. Much distinction has been made of between empathy and sympathy, but the two terms are often used interchangeably. Empathy is a very distinct character from sympathy. When a distinction is made, sympathy involves the experience of being moved by or responding in tune with another person. Empathy, in contrast, is often defined as an understanding another person's experience by imagining oneself in the other person's situation. One understands the other person's experience as if it were being experienced by the self, but without the self actually experiencing it. A distinction is maintained between self and other. Empathy is the imaginative transposing of oneself to thinking, feeling, and acting for another. Sympathy is feeling pity and tenderness towards a person. Empathy goes beyond sympathy, a simple expression of concern for another person's misfortune. Empathy involves sharing another person's emotional experience and is based on an unspoken understanding. We can co-experience and relate to the emotions of another person without necessarily having to directly communicate this to them. Sympathy, on the other hand, implies supportive feelings and offerings. We offer assistance and love. For example, by telling another person how sorry we feel for them, we may feel genuinely sorry, but this does not mean we necessarily understand what they are going through. Sympathy is a feeling and expression of concern for someone, often accompanied by a wish for them to be happier or better off. In general, sympathy implies a deeper, more personal level of concern than pity, a simple expression of sorrow. However, unlike empathy, sympathy does not imply that one's feelings for another are based on shared experiences or emotions. Empathy requires the ability to recognize the suffering of another person from their point of view and to openly share their emotions, including painful distress. Teachers should be empathetic rather than sympathetic towards the students. Empathic teachers are able to put themselves inside the shoes of their students and perceive the world through the students' eyes. Empathic educators connect more effectively and constructively with students and thus enable effective learning. Empathy helps to create strong interpersonal bonds among teacher and students that are important to ensure the success of the students. The next term is altruism. Altruism going beyond empathy. Have you heard about altruism? Is it similar to empathy? Altruism and empathy are related emotions. Therefore, many tend to consider these two as similar. The main difference between altruism and empathy is that altruism refers to the disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others, while empathy is the ability to understand the circumstance of someone as your own. Empathy refers to one's ability to understand the other person's circumstance by considering oneself in their circumstance. Consequently, you begin to comprehend their feelings and the pain they are experiencing in life as your own. Thus, you will be eventually driven to help them to overcome it somehow or other. Altruism is defined as the disinterested and selfless concern for the well-being of others. Thus, it is the act of doing good for the well-being of others. There is a selfless concern for the well-being of others in altruism which surpasses the feeling such as sympathy, compassion or empathy. Moreover, it goes to a higher levels where you will even risk your life to help someone else. Feeling empathetic towards the plight of other person can make you act altruistically towards them. Many psychologists and philosophers suggested that people may help because they feel empathy for another person's welfare, which may lead to altruism. Thus, empathy becomes a necessity for altruism to happen. Furthermore, altruism highlights the ability to risk or sacrifice yourself to elevate the suffering of another. Therefore, altruism is the philanthropical way of helping someone else without expecting anything in return. If you act altruistically, you wouldn't even want to be recognized or rewarded by the others for your beneficial and altruistic act on the others. Altruistic acts are what are ordinarily called good deeds. For instance, consider situations where you deposit money in the bank account of someone who is seeking financial assistance due to his or her helplessness. Here, you do not expect your charitable act to be rewarded in any way, not even by social recognition. This is a case of altruism. Thus, it simply refers to the unselfish concern for the welfare of others. Similarly, if a person is ready to donate one kidney for an unknown person who is having kidney failure, is regarded as an act of altruism. Now, let us analyze the types of empathy. According to Ekman, psychologist and pioneer in the field of emotions, there are distinct types of empathy. Cognitive empathy. It is also called perspective taking. Cognitive empathy is the ability to understand and predict the feelings and thought of others by imagining oneself in their situation. It enables an individual to put in someone else's shoes but without necessarily engaging with their emotions. It does not, however, really fit with the definition of empathy as feeling with, being much more rational and logical process. In other words, cognitive empathy is empathy by thought rather than by feeling. Cognitive empathy responds with brain power. For instance, if your friend is facing a surgery and feeling frightened, instead of saying, "Oh, don't worry, everything will be fine," you comfort your friend by letting them know you understand how they feel. You talk about the nature of fear, worry about likely pain or discomfort and ways you feel more in control. You also collect as many information regarding the surgery and its after effects by asking doctors and nurses and being a self-advocate. This type of empathy can be a huge asset in circumstances where you need to get inside another person's head or interact with tact and understanding. Similarly, if a doctor investigates a sick person, he interrogates the patient about the details of sickness rather than dive into the emotions of the patient. The next is emotional empathy. It is closely related to cognitive empathy. Emotional empathy is the ability to actually feel what another person feels, or at least feel emotions similar to theirs. In emotional empathy, there is always some level of shared feelings. Emotional empathy is when you quite literally feel the other person's emotions alongside them as if you had caught the emotions. It is our automatic drive to respond appropriately to another's emotions. This kind of empathy happens automatically and often unconsciously. It has also been referred to as the vicarious sharing of emotions. The person with the emotional empathy has ability to fully take on emotional and mental state of another. Emotional empathy is also known as personal distress. For example, if you know about the sudden death of your friend's father, you may go into tears as if the event was occurred in your house. You remember your own condition when your brother died due to an accident, the pain you had and recovery process. Then you help your friend to cope up with the situation by assisting him as if it was happened to you and providing necessary suggestions. Similarly, while watching painful events in TV or cinema, we may run into tears by assuming ourselves in their plight. The other form of empathy is compassionate empathy. It is driven by their deep understanding of the other person's feelings based on shared experiences. Compassionately empathic people make actual efforts to help. Compassionate empathy is what we usually understand by empathy, feeling someone's pain and taking action to help. According to Goldman, with this kind of empathy, we not only understand a person's predicament and feel with them, but are spontaneously moved to help if needed. For example, when your best friend or partner comes to you with tears, you want to understand what she or he is upset, and you also want to provide comfort by sharing in her emotional experience and hopefully helping her to heal. You come up with a solution for them. The other types of empathy are somatic empathy. It is defined as feeling someone else's pain physically. For example, if you see someone hurt, you too might feel physical pain. Anecdotally, identical twins sometimes report that they know when the other has been hurt, which might be an example of somatic empathy. The next is spiritual empathy. It is defined as a direct connection with a higher being or consciousness. It is the same as enlightenment in the Eastern philosophical tradition and considered to be achievable through meditation. Spiritual empathy is a part of the quantum world of metaphysics and thus beyond the comprehension of most of us. One needs to access it intuitively and through using imagination with meditation. Techniques to inculcate empathy among students. Now you are aware about the concept of empathy, types of empathy, and how it differs from sympathy and altruism. The next question is therefore, as a teacher, how you can train your students to increase empathy skills. We all are born with the capacity to empathize, but it needs nurturing, modeling, and developing by others around us. For younger students, the teacher has greater influence on their behavior in the classroom environment. Empathy is an important personality asset that is required for the future citizens to be successful in their life. Let us consider the terrible flood that has occurred in Kerala during the month of August 2018. By witnessing media images of physical and emotional suffering happen due to flood, people from all over the world respond to the distress of flood affected individuals with monetary and other donations. This is an amazing human act that we are able to feel the faraway tragedies of other people. The noble examples of human behavior, including aiding strangers and stigmatized people, are thought to have empathetic roots. Here are some techniques to practice in order to enhance empathy skills in school situations. First one is comparing. Focusing on the similarities between oneself and others effectively increases emotional and cognitive empathy. Identifying these similarities is the logical next step following the focus on one's own feelings as well as others' feelings. Recognizing different emotive states in themselves and others and how to respond to others enhances children's empathetic perceptions and skills. Discussions and activities go a long way towards helping students see how they align or different from others. Facilitate opportunities for students to be open with one another and safely discover what others' perspective may be. Create the environment. It is important that students trust you and one another. If an understanding, trustworthy environment is established, then they are more likely to open up and display positive characteristics towards one another. The other technique is role playing. Role playing means the activities in which students assume the role of a real or fictional person. Imagining others' feelings increase both affective and cognitive empathy. Include lots of stories. Stories are perhaps the closest thing we have to walk around in someone else's skin. They make students more human and develop their ability to understand and sympathize with others' experiences. Modeling. Modeling empathetic behavior is an important feature of empathy training. When teachers model desired values, children are more likely to embrace those values rather than when they are merely compelled to behave in a certain way. Students learn from teachers' character and behaviors as much as they do from their instruction. Be a consistent example of empathy and exude a caring, compassionate, understanding attitude for the students. Work on communication strategies. Feelings are very different from words. It is important that attention is given for helping students to find the words to explain their feelings in both their speaking and in their writing. Offer collaborative group tasks. As students work together on specific tasks or challenges, they experience a sort of group modeling that brings them together. Shared victory or failure gives them collaborative experience that requires them to exercise those empathy muscles with their peers. Focusing attention on famous personalities. Focusing the students' attention on the lives and achievements of famous empathetic persons such as Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi to encourage pro-social behaviors. When adults draw the attention of children to such personalities, it has been observed that the children imitate the attitudes and behaviors associated with them. Free and structured play. playing on the playground, in the classroom builds bonds between groups that open up the lanes for mutual understanding. Encourage students to play together and even coach them on their interactions and consequences. Let me conclude that schools are the main public institutions for social development. For preparing future citizens to participate in this challenging world, teachers should make the children to understand the importance of empathy skills in everyone's life. Hope you understood the concept of empathy, how it differentiates from sympathy and altruism, and techniques for cultivating empathy skills. Thank you for watching this program. Have a nice day.